from Spark Gap Garage. I am making this video on how to refurbish or redo rims that are kind of curb rash, or you want to paint. But I got these set of rims. I'll show this in a minute. I got 4 rims and wheels out of a junkyard. Took the plastics off because they were busted up anyway, but they were for my Chrysler 300, 2008 Chrysler 300 C 225 60 R18 rims, and I need another set for going to and from the track. But I'm gonna make a video right now on how I'm gonna refurbish these wheels and make them look a lot better. So, all right, guys. So to begin with, what you're gonna do, very first thing I like to do is, typically wheels are gonna be a lot darker than this. I already did this step, but what I like to do is take these wheels, or whatever wheels, over to a car wash, and typically they'll have a setting for tire / engine degreaser, but it's perfect because typically you're gonna have a lot of baked on brake dust, and you want to get that stuff off of these. These are aluminum, but it doesn't matter, steel, aluminum, billet aluminum, it doesn't matter. But what you want to do is get that brake dust off because it's very acidic and it'll actually eat away. So then after you get that, they're cleaned up a little bit more, get to this point, I like to use this, excuse me while I walk, this Goo Gone stuff, because typically, for my case, these had plastic, shiny plastic covers, plastic on them, and you probably you can see the rim down there. That's adhesive that I gotta take off before I can refurbish these or sand them down. But typically what I'll do is I will do a couple soaks, or if you will, spray the crap out of the rims, let them sit for an hour or two. That way that stuff can kind of eat at the adhesive and loosen it up, and then going into the next step will be actually removing the adhesive and like any debris like that. But we'll get to that point here in a minute. But yeah, that's all I do for up to this point, is let them soak, which is what I'm doing now. We'll let them soak for about an hour or two. Might spray them down again, just to really get at that adhesive and loosen it up. And I also did the inside, so behind here, flip the tire around, sprayed around inside, and that way you can really get at any dirt and grime and stuff like that. So now we're ready to start cleaning the wheels. There's different methods for this. You can use a air-powered or pneumatic wire wheel, like that. A little soft brush probably won't do anything, but you got this kind of brush, or a brass or steel to get in deep areas, or some type of scraper. But my method that I'm going to do is a cross between this wire wheel and the scraper. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can use like a drill. And these bits, or these wire wheels, you can get at like Walmart or Harbor Freight. They're not that expensive, and you get a bunch of different types. But I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up the wheel. It's going to be a little noisy. This is why you have Goo Gone on there, because this adhesive comes off pretty easy. You let it sit for a couple hours, it'll just kind of loosen it all up. Different ways of taking it off, but I like this method a lot better. I will post some pictures here in a sec. Once I'm done with this one, post some pictures of before and after for them, and you can see that if you take your time, you know, you can get pretty good results out of, you know, 35-40 minutes, you know, depending on how long you want to take your time with it and how detailed you want to get it. I'm actually trying to get, you know, pretty detailed with it. So, you know, if you don't use a air-powered wire wheel like I'm using, it could take you know, anywhere between an hour and a half per wheel. But the more time you take cleaning up the you know, this area and prepping it for paint, the better the paint will come out. So continue on. Sometimes in between these little wheels, spokes can be a little hard to get into. Just maneuver them around, try different wheels, try different methods. I'm going to try this, and if this doesn't work, then I'll probably end up going to my little steel brush or a scraper, but we'll try this. I will say this, before you even start this, you should have a mask on and your safety glasses, especially if you're using one of these. It can be very dangerous. And as you work, depending on how you're working on it, as you work, you want to rotate your wheel around, get it different angles. I'm going to do the front face here and then flip it over and then do the inner side because it's all going to be painted. And there you go. You can see as I'm cleaning this one up how it's taken all the adhesive and stuff off. All the brake dust, baked on brake dust and all that will come off too. That's why you wear a mask. And with stuff flying with the wire wheel, you definitely want to make sure you're wearing eyeglasses or safety glasses. Yeah, depending on where you want to go with this, you don't have to get too crazy. As long as you get most of the adhesive or all the adhesive off and it's nice and smooth, no bumps and stuff, the paint should turn out nice and even. I'm probably going to end up going ahead and sanding these down with a little Scotch-Brite or something not too aggressive like sandpaper, but something that'll kind of smooth this out a little bit more. I might, you know, do a little bit more of this, but you guys are getting the idea that, you know, as you go along, you can reassess where you want to go with the level of detail. I will make a key note. The closer you get to, or when you're working around this valve stem, try not to, you know, especially this, try not to hit it, especially if it's like a rubber flexible valve stem. You definitely don't want to hit that because then, for obvious reasons, you can damage it and cause leaks. But I'm gonna go ahead and not bore you guys and bring you back when this one is done, or probably when I flip it over and start to do the inside. All right, see you guys in a minute. So hey guys, what's going on? This is my boss, Miguel. He's with Stage Racing. I'm also part of Stage Racing.
There you go.
We will do an intro video for myself eventually, further down the road. But he is kindly allowing me to do the wheel cleaning and stuff. So
we gotta let the guy do what he's got to do, man. I mean, he's got to represent, and this is it. So
yep.
Yeah, just here to support him as much as I can. I mean, whatever, if you guys that follow Stage Racing, you guys want to follow him,
Yeah.
support as much as you can.
I'm going for 5 followers.
5 followers. I'm trying to get 1,000. He's trying to get 5.
Yeah. So
But that's it, man. Give him a like, share, subscribe. Let's get this man to 1,000 subscribers now. 5. So,
yep. All right, I just want to show you guys that it is possible with one of these. It's the same style wire wheel as my air-powered one, but if you have like a basic drill, it doesn't matter if it's cordless or whatever, Dremel works perfect, but it is possible with this. So Sometimes you just gotta maneuver it around. Some of this stuff you gotta scrape off, which is why you have, you know, a variety of tools. If you don't have a scraper, I mean, a flathead screwdriver would work just as fine. Just try not to dig into the material, because then you'll create scratches, and then you'll see that in paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with my pneumatic one here, but you know, whatever method works best for you. Okay, so at this point, what I'm gonna do now is use an air wand. You can use a leaf blower, it doesn't matter if you're outside. I'm just gonna spray around the outside of this, and then we'll flip it over and do the inside. And as you can see, there's definitely areas that I need to touch up on, but this is where you would take your time and you know, get detailed with it. And yep. So the certain areas in here I will go back. I won't film that because that's boring, but I will go back and touch these up, and then I'll show you the after effect. So what I'm going to do now is flip the tire over and start wire wheeling the inside. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is start wire wheeling the inside. This right here is a good reason why you wear safety glasses. I am probably going to swap this out here in a minute. But yeah, this is why, because all these little wires and stuff will go flying, and you definitely don't want those in your eyes. So this is pretty much done, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to this guy. And then rotate as you go. And this is what you want to start seeing is, you can see up there is all the brake dust that's baked into it, dirt, grime, oil, you name it, it's baked in there. But with the help of these, you can get it to this surface, the shinier surface, and then from there we can prep it even further for paint. I'm not going to worry about these, the back side of these spokes, because honestly, from the outside view looking inward, you're not going to see those that much. You can clean those up. That's where, you know, if you get a little more detailed than I'm going to be with these, I'm not going to clean these up. I will, however, power wash them one more time and try to get any loose stuff off, but I'm going to leave it. So now you can see we're making our way back. So I just got this a little bit, and then we finished cleaning up. I'm not going to do this. Well, you know what? Yeah, I will do the outside rim here. The liquid you're seeing is leftover Goo Gone to help get that adhesive off. It just kind of sits like a gel almost, but it eats away at the adhesive and dirt and all that good stuff. So, all right, we'll continue on. This brake dust off. There we go. And now you can see how all the way around it is a lot cleaner. A lot of that baked in brake dust, dirt, oil, you name it, finally came off. This is where I would pressure wash it, maybe even Goo Gone it again, just kind of clean it. But you know, some sort of method of cleaning. If you go to the car wash, like I said before, there's a setting that for tires and stuff, and that'll take any leftover oil and stuff off, and that's what you want. All right, so basically what I'm doing now is I'm getting any leftover loose stuff by just wiping it down. You just go around, get as much off as you can. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you definitely see all the dust and stuff. I mean, look at that, it's pretty much black all around. So I did want to point out, as far as curb rash around the edges, at that point what I would do is, there's two methods. I don't really recommend this way, but you can use Bondo or body filler in there. I'm not going to do that. Or some sandpaper, and you just take your time with it and go around and you know, use varying levels of sandpaper to take out some of these deep grooves. But for me, this is not going to be a showpiece. This is just going to be more of a, hey, look at this wheel. But you know, once you get up close, it's not going to be so, you know, something to be wow, you know. But yeah. All right, guys, so this is the wire wheeling or cleaning portion. You get all that big stuff off, and then the next section I will show you how to further clean it and prep it for paint. All right, guys, hopefully you can hear me. It's like 20 degrees outside. So the next step after you wire wheel off your wheel, get all that big stuff off, you'll be left with a bunch of dust and stuff. Use compressed air. But you want to get that stuff off. Now to further prep it for paint, you can use two different things or whatever method you find. But I either use rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol because it evaporates after you're done. It doesn't leave a wetness or a residue. Or brake cleaner does a really good job too, especially ones that dries fast, cleans fast, and leaves no residue. That's pretty much what you want. You don't want any residue or oils left over, because that kind of defeats the purpose of cleaning them. And then wipe them down. Now I've already done this step just to save time, but basically you just spray the crap out of the area that you're painting, whether it be the front side here or inside, like I'm going to be doing both sides. So I did that. And after you wipe them down with some shop rags or whatever you got going on, I recommend these because they don't leave any little fibers or anything like a regular rag would. But this stuff works really good with those two methods. And then, so now that you're to the point where you're prepping for paint, further prepping, this is a step that I like to do. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. Not everyone wants to, do this step, but that's okay. I'll use masking tape and go all the way around the wheel, and at that point, you can see that these index cards here, they're pretty big ones. I got them off to the side here. They're pretty big ones, but they're going to overlap, and there could be little gaps in between. I don't know if you can see this on my finger, but there could be gaps in there. And I mean, I'm really particular. I don't want paint on my wheels. There's different ways you can do it. You can, if you're doing the index card method, you could wax out here and then wipe it down after. But for me, this seems to work the best. So yeah, I use masking tape all the way around, overlapping each other, down tucked into behind this rim lip. And then you're gonna overlap these index cards. And if they're bigger ones like this, or even the small ones, I like to kind of crease them in the middle, and you're gonna press them down in there and they sit perfect. Crease them. And they're gonna overlap. And this is a very crucial thing because, I mean, if you don't do this, you're just gonna get direct paint, and you want it to kind of fade in different angles. That way it looks uniform and it kind of blends all together. And that's where these index cards come in, because you can start out here, out on the edge, and feather in that paint, and it's just gonna give it so much better look. And you know what? I got my other racing wheel over here. I'll show you guys. So as you guys can see, this is gunmetal gray wheel paint, same exact rim. as these. Actually, it's identical. This rim is that guy right there. OEM 18-inch Chrysler 300 rim. I just did the same process that I'm doing up here, but this is just a different paint that turned out, in my opinion, freaking amazing. So gunmetal gray. I did just the outside. I didn't do the inside. The inside I'm going to be redoing and doing probably black, like a gloss black or something. Just kind of offset the gunmetal gray. But I'm not going to lie, it makes these tires look amazing. You probably can't see what tires these are, but these are my Falcon RT660 race tires, and I mean, they turned out awesome. So, yep. If you follow these steps, you get something that looks like that, from basically where I started, junkyard tires. All right, guys. So instead of gunmetal gray, what I'm actually going to do is a little step further. Is this color shifting? So it goes from like a silver to a purple and a blue, and I think this is going to look amazing. Obviously, you can see what that gunmetal gray looks like. But this is just going to step it up. These are going to be my tires to go to the track. I plan on entering this car into car shows and stuff like that, kind of showcasing my race group that I'm with. It's kind of important to the racing community to kind of branch out. So, but this doesn't just pertain to racing or anything by any means. This could be for everyday normal cars. Yep. So this is gonna be my paint. You got gloss clear. You got your color shift or whatever paint you choose, and then a primer. I'm going a flat black because that's gonna really help out this this color shifting paint really come out. So, but really the process is gonna be the exact same. You're gonna want some sort of primer so your paint, your actual paint, can stick to the wheel surface. It doesn't matter, plastic, metal, these are aluminum, steel, doesn't matter. You want some sort of primer. I'm just going with black. You're gonna want your paint, of choice, if you're doing whatever, black, whatever, but that's what I'm going with. And then finally, you're gonna want a clear coat, because this to me is another important step if you really want your wheels looking really nice. Granted, I will say this, those gunmetal gray racing tires, I did not clear coat. They still turn out amazing. However, if I would have clear coated them, and I still can, if I clear coat them, I think they would look just all that much better. But I'm not gonna actually do them to this, the gunmetal gray ones. I will do them to this, just to show you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and install all these index cards, and then we'll go from there. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see in here, you can see how these index cards go around, and they're at like an angle, and that's going to help the paints kind of fade into your work area, and it's just going to make it look all that much better. We're going to see if I can get you guys a little closer without dipping you guys in the paint, because that would not be good. Excuse the camera shaking. Awesome. So, to begin with, we're going to be doing our primer. Make sure you're in a warm area. You don't want to do this in the cold outside. I got my heater on. I'm sure you guys can hear it. Annoying, right? But crucial thing is you want your paint, no matter paint, primer, your color, it doesn't matter. You want it warmed up, which I kept these inside for overnight so they're nice and warm. Another idea is if you take a nice big cup of water, pretty warm water. It doesn't matter if it's room temperature or whatever, but you don't want it too hot. You just soak this in there for about 10-15 minutes. That's going to help this paint kind of thin out a little bit and help you get a better spray pattern. So I'm going to do the shake, shake, shake. Without shaking my booty. I don't shake my booty. So I'm gonna start with just your first pass is gonna be nice light coats all the way around. Work at different angles. Work at different angles. Don't feel shy shaking it a little more time, you know. Play some music, dance around, I don't care. You just want to get generally the most of the area. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. This is the first time pass, light coat. Now, like I said before, I'm going to actually be doing the inside of the tire too, and I'll probably actually film that as well, but the process is going to be identical to this. Before I actually move on to my color shifting paint, I'm going to, color shifting paint out here, I'm going to actually flip the tire over and do the same process, you know, with the tape and all that good stuff, but I'll bring it back when I do that. But you just kind of find any areas you might have missed. You don't want to do this in direct, you know, direct light, sunlight, I mean, because it will actually dry like at uneven times, and you want it to kind of dry somewhat evenly. It looks like. So the really cool thing about this primer paint, just any primer paint, is it kind of helps fill in any imperfections, scratches, dimples, you name it. But you do a nice light coat your first pass, just get the general area going, and then you come back 10-15 minutes later and you hit it a little harder, a little thicker coat, and I'll show you this once this somewhat dries. Alright, so now that we had a chance to let this dry, it's dry to the touch, you know, 10-15 minutes later. In the meantime, while it was drying and stuff, the other 3 wheels I masked off just like you saw me do on both sides of the tires. I still got to do this one. However, I did that during the time that it took this to dry. So now at this point, what we can do is more of an even coat all the way around. And what this is going to do is allow the color paint of your choice to adhere to this this wheel. So the point of the primer is actually to help adhere paint to whatever surface you're working on. So we'll go ahead and do that. This one you're doing more even coat all the way around. Don't be shy with it. To me, this is like a fun process almost, because you're transforming something that basically someone was throwing away, or, you know, if you're doing junkyard wheels like I am, or refurbishing your own wheels, you're turning it into a, you know, giving it a new life, if you will. But yeah, now we're gonna let this sit for another 10-15 minutes. I know this process, this whole painting process can take a long time, but that's where you know, I start prepping the other 3 tires in between, cleaning them out. You know, any little details that I might have missed when I wire wheeled, I take care of that before I prime them, and then I start cleaning them up with the rubbing alcohol, parts cleaner, whatever, brake cleaner, I mean. Yep, so we're gonna let this sit for another 10-15 minutes. I'm probably gonna go run and get diesel fuel for my heater, because I think it's getting a little low. Yeah. Alright guys, so this is the inside of the tire. I prepped it the exact same as the outside of the tire. I got my blue tape around. I spent 15 years doing all 4 of them. Did the no cards all the way around so you can feather in the paint. So something I'd like to point out is, to me, the only beauty side, or the side of these wheels inside that'll be seen, is this outer face here. I could care less how the inside of the spokes look, because realistically no one's gonna take a look. You know, the blemishes and stuff, you can clean them up, you can paint them however you want, but I'm not gonna go ahead and clean them up. I'm just gonna paint right over them, and that'll be our dirty little secret, but that's okay. Good song, by the way. Anyway, so the process is the exact same as the outside or any other surface you're gonna do. You clean them up and you prep them. Alright guys, so now that we had a chance to let our second coat of primer dry to the wheel, now we can go ahead and do our color paint that we're going to do. And it's the same process where we'll do a nice light coat all the way around, get the general area, let it get a little tacky, and then come back and hit it a little harder, and then let it dry out. So go ahead and hit it. Like I said before, guys, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You can kind of see it's already starting to sparkle and stuff like that. I am actually getting very excited for to see the end result with this Galactic. But what we're going to do is go ahead and let this sit and get a little tacky for about 10-15 minutes, just like the primer, and then we'll go ahead and hit it with a second coat. Alright guys, so I ended up not doing the clear coat on these wheels. I fell in love with the way they look as is. I mean, it just turned out amazing. The Galaxy, I almost said Galactic, jeez. Galaxy or Galactic, oh I guess it is Galactic. Galaxy paint, this one's drying right now. Looks absolutely sick on these stock Chrysler 300 rims. You can see there's the gunmetal gray next to, there we go, gunmetal gray next to the I'm going to say Galaxy, I can't speak, Galactic, there we go. And then here's Midnight Special, my 2008 Chrysler 300 race car with the new painted rims on there. I got it raised up in the air right now. Once it goes down, it's going to look really sick with my BC Racing coilovers. And yeah, absolutely fell in love with the way it looks. And yeah, what more is there to say? If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. There will be more videos on the 300 here, Midnight Special. And then also my 2019 Honda Ruckus. And then parked outside is my 1994 Ranger. Alright guys, thank you so much.